Through the construction of my music magazine, I have hugely developed my skills of using different technologies and have been introduced to a large amount of software I had not used before. These are some of the technologies I have used in the creation of my product. I use the internet to access my blog and update my blog on what I am doing. I use two websites to create my blog, firstly Posterous, and then I moved to WordPress due to the announcement that Twitter was closing down Posterous on the 30th of April. Both these websites were new to me, so I therefore had to learn how to use them. I had to learn how to upload certain files to my blog, such as photos, videos, text files which I converted to PDFs and so on. I also use the internet and search engines like Google to do my research into codes and conventions of real magazines in the planning and drafting stages of my magazine and how they target a specific audience. I also use the internet to research distributors and publishers such as IPC Media and Bauer Media and the conventions of their magazines. On the internet, I use various websites. One website I used was Prezi.com to create my magazine's treatment presentation to pitch to my class. I use this website because it is a very interactive and creative way to present my work. I struggled to use Prezi at the start because it was completely new to me. However, I spent time at home getting used to the website and how it works, and eventually was able to use it to a good standard. Another website I used was Bubbleless. I used this website in the very early stages on my planning to sketch out ideas for genres my magazine could be and ideas about advertisements. I found this website fairly easy to use. The third most used website I used was SurveyMonkey.com. It was on this website I created a questionnaire I could receive feedback on and was then able to develop my original ideas of what was good and what was bad about them. This website was very helpful to find out what my target audience thought of my magazine ideas. When creating my analysis of magazine videos, my treatment and my evaluation videos, I used a non-linear editing software, Windows Movie Maker, which I found fairly easy to use. I then had to record my voice over using a handy mic I borrowed from my college. This equipment was new to me and I did not know how to work it, so I asked the senior media technician at my college to explain to me how to use it properly, which really helped. All the voiceovers I recorded were scripted on Microsoft Word and posted to my blog. I also used Microsoft Word to create my call sheets for my photo shoots and my production schedules for each week. Another technology I used was the scanner in college. I used it to scan in my magazine covers and pages that I was analysing and using to pastiche onto my own magazine. I also used it for pieces of work that I wanted to post to my blog in order to prove I had done my work. When taking pictures for my magazine pages, I used my own digital camera, Fujifilm FinePix. In order to make my magazine look professional, I need a decent digital camera so my images look high quality and professional enough to make my magazine look realistic. The two technologies, and the most important ones, were the ones I used to create the pages of my magazine, InDesign and Photoshop. I used InDesign and Photoshop because they are professional softwares and I wanted to create a professional product, therefore they were the best to use. Adobe Photoshop is a graphics editing program developed and published by Adobe Systems. To begin with, I knew very little about Photoshop and how to use the tools in order to edit a picture or create anything, as I had only used it once before. The prelim test helped me because I was able to get used to the software and how to transform images, resize them, add graphics and edit colours and fonts. After the prelim, before we started work on our magazine, I had a lesson from the senior media technician all about how to use certain tools in Photoshop and how to make them and things look professional. For me, this really helped. I learnt ways to adjust images in terms of effects and how to change a simple font into a more original and creative one through the use of Photoshop. For my magazine, I used Photoshop to edit my images and create my front cover. I was able to adjust my main model's complexion on my front cover to make her appeal to my audience as an ideal self. This also helped create a preferred reading that I wanted to create. This was that my audience would be able to be more like the artist by reading the magazine, as it was an exclusive interview revealing her secrets. I learnt to use a plaster tool to remove spots or freckles from my models' faces and the background eraser to make my background to a lighter colour by adding another layer behind the layer. The second main technology I used was InDesign. Adobe InDesign is a desktop publishing software application produced by Adobe Systems. I use this to create my contents page, title page, and double page spread. This software was completely new to me, and the first week of using it I was very unsure and I asked for a lot of assistance. This software allowed me to have a border around my magazine, gutters between each paragraph and column, choose my number of columns and pages, and decide a measurement from the edges of the pages towards the text. It also allowed me to make sure all my images, text, columns and page numbers were in line, ensuring a professional output. I used a wrap tool, and I was able to wrap my text around the quotes within my article on my double page spread to make the article more visually appealing.